So I just realized the last couple of videos that I've shot, I've noticed when I turn the camera on, it would zoom in a little bit. So it would go from being like a framed thing and like just kind of hyper zoom in. I also noticed in the last couple of videos, there'd be moments where there was like movement, or I would notice it specifically with these things and over here. Like if you watch them, there's moments where the camera moves and I thought I was like stepping on the floor weird and making the camera sort of gyrate. No, Frankie, I just realized literally fake watch 5 minutes ago. You had video stabilization on and the camera was trying to like keep up with you. Because this is such a fast action edit, that like we gotta keep things stabilized. There's an irony there in that video stabilization makes video look unstable. I don't know. I wanted to talk today a little bit about, this is going to be weird for me because I've never talked about this out loud ever. And I've said it twice in the past week. And so I feel like it's on my mind and I'm going to talk about it. Body positivity. This is just going to be completely off the cuff, and I have no idea what I'm about to say. So here goes. I have recognized lately that I have been making an attempt, to eat healthier, to be a little bit more active, even if it's just doing like squats or push-ups or a small amount of exercise a day, to be very conscious of what I'm consuming and how much I'm consuming it. And then also, like, I've just been very conscious about how I perceive myself and how I allow myself to be perceived, and trying as hard as I can to be accepting of my own flaws and my own whatever, my own cadences and idiosyncrasies and my own body. And I think a lot of the psychology of being human, we don't realize how much all of these things play into each other. But I have a feeling that the more you weigh negative thoughts on yourself and you judge yourself and you allow your flaws to be the things you see most, the more that's the path you go down. And I don't want to go as far as to say anything as cliche as you have to love yourself in order for other people to love you, blah, whatever. And because, well, I do believe that there are nuggets of truth there. I think the reality is that the word love isn't the right word because it means different things to different people. I think the important part for me has been to not get caught up. My brain does really love to get on a kind of a negative spiral, and it's not always negative. It's self-deprecating. Self-deprecating humor is something I cling to a lot. It's like a security blanket because it's very much like if I can sort of make fun of myself, if I can see the humor and the irony in who I am, then surely I can use that to, take the edge off. But it doesn't always work that way. There's going to be a lot of rambling in this video, and hopefully at the end, some of it makes sense. And if it doesn't, then, maybe we can help each other out. As a gay man, one of the hardest things to kind of adapt to is labels in the gay community. The first time that someone ever called me a bear, it was really hard to take that in, and it was really hard to be like, wait, what does that mean? Like, how does that affect me? How does that change me? How does that affect the way I perceive myself? And I still don't know that I'm there yet. I'm at a place where I've accepted it as sort of a term of endearment rather than something that has a negative connotation to it. Because a lot of times I feel like in these situations, you're labeled as something by an outside force and you don't necessarily relate to it or recognize it, and it's harder to take it in and it's harder to be that thing, especially if it's not true to who you are. And so that is sort of the struggle I've been having too. There are many, many men, obviously, in the gay community who do not find me attractive. I might be one of those people. But then there are guys that come at me really strong and like I'm their type. And that is also alarming to me because I'm not used to that. I don't know how to respond. Still, this is still something I'm working through in my late 30s, because For the longest time, I didn't know how to recognize that I could be attractive to somebody else. And when you don't have that capability, and people like try to make you see it, they try to get in your own head and try to convince you of something that you don't inherently understand or believe yet, those things can be tricky. A lot of times people either think you're lying or you're being too modest, or they think that it's something that they could be fixed like immediately. Like, no, see the truth in this. See what I see. But so many things in life would be like so much easier if it was as easy as like, no, just, can't you just see what I see? I'm going to be very honest, because this is immediately relevant to something that I tried this week. And that was posting a shirtless picture to my Instagram story, because I was having a moment in the morning where I was struggling with my beard. It was one of those moments of like, I'm about to walk into the bathroom and shave my beard off, and I don't know, it's a weird thing, because it's like, if I shave this off, it's, I have to start all over. And so I posted a picture in that moment, and for me, it was sort of, groundbreaking is not the right word to use here, but I realized that like ever since I was a young kid, like ever since I started to put on weight, like wearing shirts was a definite security blanket. I've always felt better clothed. Showing off my chest is odd. It doesn't come naturally. It feels sort of offensive, if that's even, is that even a word I want to put out there? And that's, I think what I'm trying to get at is, there is a thing happening psychologically or mentally or internally where I am still processing the ideas of how I perceive myself, how I allow myself to be perceived, how I present myself in situations where I'm not yet fully comfortable with who I am. And I think there's a lot of us going through, I think the reason I'm just choosing to be honest about all this is because I think more and more there are more people dealing with these thoughts and these situations and these ideas than we think. And so we think we're always alone in them. We think we're battling this thing by ourselves, and we think like, oh man, like how could I be as positive or as happy or as confident as whoever, as this person I'm looking at, as this person I follow on Instagram, as this friend of mine or my brother or my cousin. Like, you see these people who are just exuding confidence and have what is an apparent mental positivity about themselves. But like, I promise you, what I'm learning in my own life is that more and more people relate to these things, these issues of confidence and I almost said self-love again, but that doesn't feel right. That seems like it's oversimplifying it. So yeah, I need to take a breath, because I don't want to get too off track here, and I don't want to end up regurgitating things or saying things I don't haven't fully fleshed out. But what I'm learning right now at this point in my life is it's really important to take time for yourself in so many ways, and to give yourself the benefit of the doubt, and to not look for things in other people. You can look for guidance in other people, you can look for examples, but not to look at another person's life and try and compare your own to it. Because the everything that has brought you into this moment, the everything that is making this moment real for you, is so different than the everything the everything of my life, the person next to you, the person you're thinking about right now. I'm recognizing that it's okay to have these thoughts, and I'm recognizing that it's okay to process them however I need to process them, and that even at this point in my life where I feel like I probably should have had a lot of this all sorted out by now, that I don't, and that it's unfair to assume that anybody does. There's a high likelihood that you have no idea what someone else is going through. That being said, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, feel free to like the video. I think I covered all the bases for now. Didn't I? Did I not? Okay.